Here at Sydenham Garden we work with members of the community who are suffering from or living with mental ill health. We do that through kind of creating a safe and compassionate space for them to come and basically rediscover themselves, grow back into themselves and also feel sort of genuine community, which is something that a lot of people will lose when they suffer from mental ill health. So we provide a space where I guess they can just remember how important they are and remember that what they're doing has a value.
I've worked with David at the flower farm from May until about September. It was a good experience. I loved every single second of it. I just came through the gate and they put an invisible blanket around me and safe space. It was the space that I needed.
It doesn't hurt that the flowers are incredibly beautiful and lovely to work with. Selling them to high-end florists who come to site to pick them up and absolutely love them and then go off and sell them for loads of money. And it just works. It's a win-win situation.
Working at the flower garden, I didn't think I would ever get employed. Seriously, I was quite shocked when David offered me employment because I was like, oh, am I ready?
Here at Sydenham Garden we felt it was important to offer employment to people who had been experiencing barriers to work due to their mental ill health. From the work we'd done, we'd worked with a lot of people and we'd done a lot of employability workshops and we'd learnt quite a lot from our folk about what the actual barriers to employment were. And we felt that we could offer supported employment where we overcome these barriers. We wanted to do it on a sort of 6-month, on a short-term basis so that we were basically setting people up to then go into sort of a wider range of employment, helping them create forward-proofing strategies to be able to overcome some of the barriers which they could overcome.
My job when I was working on the flower farm is just flowers. First of all, I'll go around, see what needs doing, check the flowers, are they leaning, are they straight? I'll take the holes and do all the beds and then we work out what needs doing for that morning. David would get an order, he would have a website set up and they would go through the website. You need 2 buckets, he only wants these particular plants because he's doing some sort of event. But what normally happens is that once I've done the buckets and they come in, I know that the buckets are filled and it's enough. But I always say, come round with me again. Let's see, do you want some more? If we can give them what they want, they'll always come back.
Enterprise Development Programme was essential and a vital part of being able to employ Ken on the supported employment scheme by helping us set up the flower farm and sort of scale it, but also just by providing funding to do it. So they paid for his wage. They supported us through funding as well, through wages, so that we could manage him appropriately.
When I first came here as a client, forget about the word client, co-worker. It took me about a year, 2 years to walk through the gate. I suffer from anxiety, so I get on the bus, I start sweating, I get off the bus, do my breathing exercise, wait for another bus. So I could take 3 buses when I should be taking 1 bus. Your learning skills and your confidence hopefully is raising. It's a very slow process because you come in here every single week and it's a place that you feel safe to come in. It's a routine now, you want to come. I knew it was working. I wanted to get out of bed and come here. So that's the big difference. Right
from the start, Ken was an incredibly committed and enthusiastic employee. We worked together to find him a kind of appropriate work plan and work schedule, which he just jumped at with his kind of classic enthusiasm. He settled in incredibly quickly, became like a very valued member of the team and a vital part of the project on helping us meet our targets and deliver the sort of the things we'd promised. We couldn't have run the project at scale we did without him.
They were more concerned about me, not about what I've done or what I was intending to do. No, you're here. And it takes a lot to walk through the gate. And it takes a hell of a lot of courage and time to heal your mind. They just gave me the space to do what I wanted to do. If I felt a bit weak, I know that I could just leave what I'm doing and just walk around and sit somewhere else, or find a little spot somewhere and just sit. There's a couple of times I felt tearful and didn't feel any pressure. I've got access to any member of staff. If I'm in trouble or if I need someone to talk to, they're all accessible. I've not used that yet, but I just know they're there.
I think that people enjoy getting involved here at the Flower Farm because we can offer a sort of safe and compassionate space for them to stretch themselves, for them to engage, for them to learn new skills, for them to validate their own worth. After spending time in the mental health system where they're seen more as a problem than as a person, here they can be seen for someone who has something valuable to give.
I'm more confident now in approaching work. If a horticultural job comes along, as long as it doesn't say full-time, I'll consider it.
My favourite thing about working here at the Flower Farm is definitely the positive change that I see of our folk who go through the programme. I love all of it. I love being outside, I love working with nature, I love the idea of doing a sort of a sustainable and ethical enterprise. But hands down it has to be working with people who have had bad luck or in a bad place and seeing them work to overcome some of those challenges and seeing them shine.
Because the garden has done the healing process. Just being out in the open, listening to birds. We can't get rid of our feelings sometimes, our mental health problems, but we can learn to live with it. And that's the main thing. And that's what I'm doing. I'm learning to live with it. So you need to push yourself sometimes. But once you're up, you go. I'm happy.